What would you do? You are standing on an ancient shore. The sky is dark. The water is black. Your tribe is hungry. Your hands are empty. Behind you, children are crying. In front of you, something huge rises from the sea. A whale, bigger than any animal your ancestors have ever faced. One strike from its tail could break your bones. One wrong move could end your bloodline. So your ancient brain gives one command: run. That is the old answer, the simple answer, the safe answer. Wild animals fear humans, and they should, because for thousands of years we were not weak, we were not harmless. We were persistence hunters, we were fire carriers, we were spear throwers. We were the strange apes that could track an animal until its body gave up. We were not the strongest creature on Earth, but we became the most dangerous. So the rule of the wild became simple: stay away from humans. Avoid the upright animal. Avoid the eyes. Avoid the hands. Avoid the fire. But then something happens that should not happen. A wounded animal comes closer. A whale holds still. A dolphin swims toward a diver. A manta ray turns its body like it is showing a wound. An elephant walks toward a vehicle. A seal leaps into a human boat. And suddenly, the old answer breaks. Because if humans are danger, why would wild animals ever come to us for help? The false answer is easy. They know we are kind. They know we can save them. They understand our hearts. That answer feels beautiful. It feels magical. It feels like nature is reaching across the wall and saying, I trust you. But the deeper truth is older, darker, and much more interesting. Because these animals may not be trusting kindness. They may be making a survival calculation. The same kind of calculation your ancestors made beside a fire. The same calculation that shaped the human brain. The question is not, do animals believe humans are good? The real question is, when pain becomes worse than fear, what does a wild mind choose? In December of 2005, a rescue team received a call about a humpback whale trapped near the Farallon Islands. The whale was tangled in crab lines. Not one line, not two lines, more than 20. Heavy gear dragged from her body. The lines wrapped around her body. They cut into her skin. They pulled her down. She was a creature built for open ocean. But now the ocean had become a trap. Every breath was a battle. Every movement tightened the prison. For a whale, drowning is not quick. It is slow terror. It is panic inside a giant body. It is needing air while the surface stays just out of reach. Then the divers arrived. Small bodies, soft bodies, human bodies. To the whale, they should have looked like risk. Unknown shapes, moving hands, metal tools, bubbles, knives. But the whale did not flee. She did not thrash. She did not smash them. She stayed still. For nearly an hour, the divers cut line after line. They moved under her body. They worked near her tail. They worked near power that could kill them in a second. And the whale allowed it. When the final line broke free, the expected ending was simple. The whale should have vanished. Pain gone. Threat gone. Escape open. But she did not leave at once. She circled back. She touched the divers, one by one. A gentle nudge from an animal the size of a bus. People called it gratitude. Maybe it was. Maybe it was not. But either way, something strange happened. A wild animal ignored the ancient rule, the rule that says, fear the human. Now peel back the first layer. Maybe the whale did not know the divers were rescuers. Maybe she did not understand the knives. Maybe she did not understand the plan. But she did understand pressure. She understood pain. She understood that when those small shapes came close, the pressure changed. The lines loosened. Breathing became possible. Movement returned. That may be enough. Not human morality, not a fairy tale, a pattern. Pain decreases near these beings. Stillness helps. Do not fight. That is not simple. That is not stupid. That is survival intelligence. And survival intelligence is ancient. Long before cities, long before language, long before science. Our ancestors also survived by reading patterns. Smoke meant fire. Birds rising meant danger. Tracks meant food. Silence meant predator. A shadow in grass meant death. The brain did not need perfect understanding. It needed useful guesses. And in the wild, a useful guess can save a life. This is where animals and ancient humans meet. Not in words, not in logic, but in pressure, fear, memory, risk, reward. A manta ray with a hook in its gill does not need to know what a fisherman is. It does not need to understand steel. It does not need to understand compassion. It only needs to sense that a diver can approach the wound, that human hands sometimes remove pain. Near Hawaii, divers have seen manta rays arrive with fishing hooks buried in their bodies. The animals slow down. They hover. Some turn their bellies upward. They hold still in ways they usually would not. To us, it looks like asking. To them, it may be something more primitive. A body saying, "This hurts. This shape came close before. The pain stopped. Try again." That is the deeper reveal. Help may begin as accident, then become memory, then become behavior. And memory is one of the great engines of evolution. An animal that remembers danger lives longer. An animal that remembers safe exceptions may also live longer. The wild is not just tooth and claw. It is also flexible judgment. Most creatures survive by running from anything strange. But some creatures can do something rarer. They can pause. They can compare. They can choose the lesser danger. That is exactly what ancient humans did. Imagine a starving hunter on the edge of a frozen plain. A storm comes from the north. A cave waits nearby. But the cave smells like bear. The safe answer is, do not enter. The deeper answer is, the storm will kill you for sure. The bear may not be inside. So the hunter enters. That is not courage. That is calculation. The seal that leaps into a fishing boat while orcas circle below may be doing the same thing. The boat is strange. Humans are strange. But orcas are immediate death. So the seal chooses the floating danger. It does not need to believe humans are protectors. It only needs to know one thing. The orcas cannot follow here. In that moment, humans become terrain. Not friends, not gods. Terrain. A moving island. A wall between teeth and blood. This is a powerful idea because prehistoric humans also used the world this way. Trees were ladders away from predators. Cliffs were traps for prey. Fire was a wall. Rivers were escape routes. Our genius was not only that we made tools, it was that we turned the environment into strategy. And sometimes, animals turn us into strategy. A boat becomes a rock. A diver becomes a cleaner. A truck becomes a familiar object. A human hand becomes a risky tool. That does not make the story less amazing. It makes it more real. Now peel back another layer. Not every animal does this. A deer with a snare wound usually runs. A wounded boar may charge. A bird may panic until it dies.
Most wild animals do not approach humans when injured. They hide, they suffer, they disappear. For every whale that holds still, thousands of animals die unseen. For every dolphin that comes near a swimmer, countless others drown in nets. These stories are not normal. They are rare. They are edge cases. And that matters, because rare behavior often shows us the hidden borders of the mind. The animals most often connected to these stories are not random. Whales, dolphins, elephants, manta rays, seals. They are not simple machines. They live long lives. They remember. They learn. They recognize individuals. They form bonds. They move through social worlds. They are not human, but they are not empty either. An elephant does not survive by instinct alone. It survives through memory. Where water was, where danger waited, which humans carried guns, which vehicles meant rescue, which paths led calves to safety. In parts of Kenya and Zimbabwe, injured elephants have been seen approaching ranger vehicles. Some had wounds from snares, some slowed near trucks, some stood close enough for treatment. A simple explanation says they were trained, but wild elephants are not pets. Another explanation says they remembered. Maybe as calves they were helped by humans. Maybe the smell of medicine stayed in memory. Maybe the shape of a vehicle became linked with relief. Not love, not worship, a category. This kind of vehicle did not kill me. This kind of human came close and pain ended. That is enough for a second chance. Ancient humans lived by the same category-making power. One plant heals, another plant poisons. One valley holds water, another holds lions. One stranger brings trade, another brings war. The mind that cannot categorize dies. The mind that can update survives.
So when a wild elephant approaches a ranger vehicle, it may be doing something deeply ancient. It may be updating fear. And that is one of the hardest things any brain can do. Because fear is old.